Welcome to my to Wealth program with Shahraki and Kuldeep. Today we're going to be talking about why be hungry for success. You might have heard this so many times. You might have heard so many times. Just live in the moment and just be happy with what you got and everything. Now, that's fine. You have to be happy with what you got. But if you settle with what you got, you're never going to achieve anything anymore. You might say, oh, I'm just happy with what I've got. But then to me, you are very selfish. Why? If you can do more, if you can achieve more to help other people with your achievement as a result of your achievement, or give more to your children, do more for your children, give to other people. Even if you don't have children, give to dogs charity, cat charity, if you can't do it and you're not doing it, you are wasting your talent, isn't it?
Yeah.
You keep yawning here.
Because I woke up really
What
early.
time
It
do you
was
wake up?
3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning you woke
Yeah.
up. Why?
Um, don't like to say.
Okay, so what do you think, Cole? Do you think we have to be hungry for success?
Yeah, yeah. Because if you're not, then you're not going to try to be better. You're not gonna
Come
be a
off
bit,
also. Yeah.
so you're not going to try to be a better person. You're not going to try to achieve anything new.
And if you don't achieve, you don't try to be, better every day, what's going to happen?
You're going to get depression.
You're
Yeah,
never gonna make progress, isn't it? You're just
yeah.
gonna stay in the same place all the time, and you feel bored. Why am I like not making
Not
progress?
just bored. You're going to start to feel sad because
Feeling depressed, yeah,
yeah,
because
because you're going to start to compare yourself to other people.
you see everybody's going
Yeah,
forward, and you're just
and you
sitting back.
still
You're not going forward.
you're in
You're
the
not
same
making
place.
progress. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why the first thing is, in my book I talk about this. You need to set high standard for yourself. Raise your standard. One part of raising your standard is to be hungry for more. Right now, being hungry for more is very important. Why? Because if you are hungry for more, then you're gonna go and achieve more. You're gonna go and set more goals for yourself. You're gonna go and do more. That's very important in the path of success. But if you just want to be happy with what you got, then you are not going to go and set the next goal. You're going
No.
to keep saying, I'm just going to be happy with what I've got. You said that so many times to me, right? But also, you have to be happy with what you got.
So you have to be happy for the present. What you have at
Why?
this moment.
Because if you are not happy and grateful for what you got, then you're going to be depressed. You're
Mm.
feeling down because you feel worthless. You start doubting yourself, thinking like, I haven't got anything, I don't achieve anything. You first, this is very important. Whoever said that you have to live in the present, they forgot to complete the sentence.
Mm.
You have to live in the present.
So be happy for when you should wake up in the morning. You
Thank you
should
for being able to wake up. Thank you for my
to be able
children.
to see,
Thank you for my
be able to
kids to wake
breathe.
up. Many kids, they didn't wake up,
See my kids, see my loved ones today.
being able to wake up, right? But thank you for giving me that opportunity to have a go at my chance again. But
Have
can I
another
have
day.
more?
Have another day.
But can I
Like
have more? You always have to ask for more,
mm,
right? Because if you don't ask for more, what does that mean? It means you are living in your comfort zone.
that means you're happy with what you've got.
You are happy what you got and you don't want to make progress. You don't want to go out of your comfort zone. You don't want to try anything new. And you're going to be missing out a lot of the stuff. You might say, it's fine. I don't mind to miss out a lot. I don't mind. But then if you have a talent, if you are good at something, you are wasting your talent. When you were born, every single one of us was given a golden egg.
Mm.
When you are gone, you're going to be asked, I gave you this golden egg. I gave you this talent. I gave you this purpose. I gave you this life. I gave you this time in life to go and explore your talent, to achieve your full potential. What did you do with it? What you going to answer? Oh, I didn't do anything. I just hide the golden egg and I never used it. Here you are. I'm going to give the golden egg back to you. There is no reward on that, is it? You're not going to get reward just bringing a golden egg back. Some people, they waste that talent, isn't it? Yeah. Some people, they just waste their talent. Now, if you are wasting your talent, you're not going to feel confident. You're not going to achieve your full potential. Why? Because you're only going to feel confident if you are taking action. You are taking action, then you can see result. When you are seeing result, then you feel confident. Now, when you are not confident, it's because you are not seeing no result. And when you are not seeing no result, that means you are not taking no action.
And the thing is, with
That means
results,
you are not achieving full potential.
and the thing with results is people, when they do something, they want to see like immediate results. Otherwise, it puts them off, doesn't it? So when they don't see get that immediate result straight away, it just puts them off even trying. So that's why they prefer probably to be in their comfort zone in the way they are at that point.
They don't want to try something
Yeah.
new, but they don't know if it's going to work or not.
So it's another thing like saying being scared. They're actually scared of
Trying.
trying new things.
Because they think, what if I'm wasting my time, wasting my money, and this is not going to work?
Doesn't work.
But the other side of the coin is, what if it does work?
Yeah, but you don't know until if you don't try.
But also, you don't know if it's not going to work. You don't know none of it.
Yeah.
There is only one way to find out. As Harry Hill says all the time,
yes.
Take action and fight.
Better to try than not to have tried at all.
The difference is here. The difference is here. If you tried and you failed, you always can come back in this point, isn't it? The point you are right now.
But the other way you couldn't.
But if you don't try it, you never know if that thing could have worked or not.
How could it have been? Yeah. What would have happened?
All your life, you're going to sit down and just regret it.
Yeah, you're always going to compare that time.
Thinking, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done that. How did I learn this? I spent a lot of time with old people. Very old people, like, they are literally on care home. They are, they are on their deathbed, like 90 years old, 95 years old. And when you ask them, they keep saying this to you: try anything you want, just try it. Don't put it off. Don't put it off.
It's probably because they realize themselves they wanted to do something in their life and they never done it. And they actually put it off. And now they've got that regret in them. That's
the most painful pain when you are getting old is the pain of regret, because now you don't have time to go and do it, and then you keep saying, I wish I would have done it, I wish I would have done it, but then you can't do it
because you're too old.
Right? So whatever you feel like you need to do it right now. When you achieve one goal, set the next goal. Don't just settle for one goal because 10 years ago you achieved one goal. I set the goal to become a driving instructor 20 years ago. Now, because I achieved that goal, I don't feel like, go and try anymore. We have Mike here as well. Let's bring Mike up. How are you, Mike? 20 years ago. Now, because I achieved that goal, I don't feel like... You okay? Mike, we're talking about why be hungry for success. What's your thought on that?
No, I seem to be
getting why should you be hungry?
Feedback here at the minute, so I might just have to bob out and try again.
Why be hungry for success?
What's
your probably you're logged in on Facebook somewhere. Why should you be hungry?
Let me come back to you. Let me just try something. Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's all right. Right, yeah. Take on being hungry. Well, if you're hungry, that means you're always going to be on the strive to do something. If you're content, you're going to do bugger all.
Exactly. You're not going to go and make progress.
Nice way to say, Mike. Nice way to say. Bugger all.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Bugger all.
Yeah. Some people, they, when you say to them, why don't you try to be hungry? I said, look, I'm happy what I've got. I'm really happy. In my life, I'm really happy with the point I am now. I see those people as selfish, because if you already achieved what you wanted to achieve, but still you have time and energy to do more, why don't you do more now to serve other people?
Well, that's right. That's just being fat and content, isn't it? That's the key thing. Whereas if you're always striving, a lot of people always want to improve themselves, don't they? If you're on that path to self-improvement, you're always looking for the next thing. You're always moving on. And that sort of dovetails into the hunger thing, that you always want to move on to the next thing rather than just plateauing out and just staying still all the time.
See, this comes underneath raise your standard in life. Some people, they keep asking me, Ali, how can you be so hungry to serve people? This comes underneath it, because I'm serving people because it feeds me. if it's my hunger, I could have say, you know what, now I achieve what I want to achieve, and I'm not going to teach my skill to nobody. I'm not going to do this anymore. People, they can go to somebody else. Somebody needs to do it. But then I start thinking, before 2010, I was looking everywhere for somebody to teach me this skill, and nobody would teach this skill to anybody who wasn't a family member. They would only teach you this skill to family member. I was begging them. I was willing to pay any amount of money to learn this skill. Now, if I decide to do that, another 2 or 3 people decide to do the same thing, don't teach this skill to anybody, well, we're going to take this skill to graveyard ourselves, isn't it?
But
that's right. It's your duty to pass it on, isn't it?
It's your duty to pass it on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same as lecturing university. I remember there was a doctor. He was one of the best pediatrician in UK. Right? We didn't have nobody better than him. But this guy, he was very selfish, Mike. He was a doctor of my daughter, and he never met us in the hospital. The reason was because he didn't want to have any student or anybody who's learning around him. So he didn't want to teach anybody. And he was researching until the last minute of his life. Remember?
Yeah.
And he used to meet us just in a school in a very private room without anybody being there, without any camera being there. So there was no even cameras to record his teaching or his research, right? He never kept any of them in his office. So suddenly he got cancer.
He's always going to lose everything.
He died after 6 months. He didn't have enough time. Even NHS didn't have enough time to replace this guy. He was so valuable. He used all the resources of NHS to do all his research, do all the learning, right? But he never wrote a book. He never put it down on a paper. He never taught it to anybody. Mike took 6 years for NHS to find somebody who was one third of this doctor. Not even a fully exactly copy. No. It took 6 years for somebody to come and replace him who had 1/3 of his knowledge.
He studied a lot.
Now, what's the point? He just wasted his time, isn't it?
A lot of that is fear, though, isn't it? I found that quite a lot in the world. People have a fear for passing on their experience rather than delighting in the fact that somebody actually wants to take that experience. They have a fear that they're going to be replaced. They're going to lose out. They're going to be left behind somewhere. Whereas if he's at the pinnacle, if he's at the top of the pyramid, then that's his security.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right.
Upside down and spread the knowledge outwards.
You're absolutely right. Especially this happens with people who they have limited skill or limited ability, or they don't like to do more learning. Like I love teaching my skill because teaching my skill to other people forces me to go and do more learning. Because for me to stay on top of this pyramid, I need to keep doing more learning to stay on top.
Yeah.
And that makes me even more hungry. I find it very boring when I achieved what I want to achieve myself. I find it really boring. Now I love it because I know you guys are chasing me, because I'm teaching you everything I know, and then I'm feeling, okay, now I need to learn something more new. So it makes me to go and attend more courses, learn more, and get better and better every day.
Yes, absolutely.
Even if just one person use this knowledge, that's fine. I changed one person's life.
Yeah, that's it. You've changed a life and you've changed it forever.
That's it.
And then they'll go on and change other lives as well as part and parcel of that. So, people shouldn't fear spreading the knowledge out.
So do you think, what would you say to people who they say, you know what, I don't want to do anything, I'm happy what I've got, I've got my little life, I'm having my little earning, I don't want to do anymore. That's it, because my granddad did that for 99 years and, he could do more. He never, you see, he was one of those people who came to this life and he lived for 90 years, but he never impacted anybody. I can't remember anything from him. Not even one advice, not even one chat, nothing.
It's quite sad, actually.
That's not really nice, is it?
Yeah, there's nothing you can say to people like that because they're in their niche, they're content, they're happy. And if they're content and happy, and there's nothing you can do unless there's a fire or an earthquake to get them to shift from that particular stance. There is all you can do is really talk to them, yeah, that's fine, but you're probably like raining on sand rather than on fertile soil, isn't it? It's just going to drain away in one ear and out the other. And that person, unless they have a revelation, they're not actually going to do anything about it, are they? They're just going to be stuck in that mindset and nothing will change. So the true answer is there's nothing you can do for them.
Because to be honest, I believe there is no maximum limit for full potential. We were born with unlimited potential. Like human being can do so much stuff. You know, you just need to have a strategy, have a plan, focus on it, and just go and do it. But most people, they just want to live in their comfort zone, and comfort zone is a dangerous place to live.
Oh, very much so. That's why.
You're cutting out, I think, or is it me? One of us cutting out. Is it us or Mike? One of us is cutting out.
It's froze. Mike's frozen.
Is it Mike frozen?
Push.
Mike, you frozen once. Can you hear us? Yeah, you're frozen. We can't hear you. Just complete frozen.
Crackly.
Yeah. So yeah, by the time Mike come back, that's it really. What do you think? What's your view on that? Do you think you should be hungry for more, or you should settle just to say, you know what, you should be happy?
Should be hungry.
But also you have to be happy for what you have. You see, it's all about a balance. You just have to keep the balance. What's the balance? You have to keep the balance. What's the balance? You have to have gratitude for what you have. And also, you have to be happy for what you have. That makes you to not to have depression. That makes you to live happily for this moment.
Being appreciative.
Yes, but you always have to ask for more and have plan for more to achieve more. Because if you stay in this moment, then you are not making no progress. Yes, you achieved this already. Well done to you. Everybody clap for you. But what's next? I don't want next. But if you say you don't want next, then you are stuck in this time. If you achieved one goal 10 years ago, you should have daily goals, daily achievement every day to make you feel like you are making progress. The only time to me life is stopped is when you are not making progress. That's dead. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you're not making progress or you are not making a difference to your life from today to tomorrow, to me that's being dead. That's it.
Made progress today at the gym.
Yeah, we made progress in the gym. We've done something which we haven't done for a long time. We're gonna be doing it every day. So
yeah.
That's it. What I said though.
That's progress, isn't it?
That's
right?
Progress, something different.
So
it's important. Always strive. Always strive to find the next thing to do better.
And also, I don't disagree with being happy with the moment and living the moment. Yeah, absolutely, you have to do that. Because if you're not happy with what you have, and you are not living in the moment, and you don't have no gratitude for a moment and the things you achieved already, you're gonna feel depressed because you keep comparing yourself to everybody else, and you always feel like you are worthless. You always feel like you are guilty. You never achieved anything. You never done anything. You have to be grateful for even just waking up in the morning. But the different ideology I have is don't just stop there. Say, I'm very happy. Thank you for waking up. Thank you for achieving this. Thank you for that. That's all good. But can I have another £5 million? Why do you want that? So I can help more people. So I can give more homeless charities, right? Just ask for more.
Yeah.
I remember I asked, I was interviewing somebody who was a multimillionaire, and I said, you didn't have no money a few years back. How come suddenly you start having a lot of money? He said, I stopped asking just for help, and I asked for help and money.
Your mom told you to always ask for help.
I asked my mom, I said, Mom, what have you been asking all my life for us? He said, I've been always asking for help. I said, from now on, you have to ask for money as well. She said, really? I said, yeah. What's the point of being healthy and not having money? And what's the point of, having money and not having help? So I want both of it. So why don't you ask for both?
Yeah.
She said, that's something. I never thought about that.
Well, people feel guilty about asking for that, don't they?
But that, I had to overcome that. I was
If you
feeling
don't
guilty
ask, you
about that
won't
as
get.
well.
Yeah.
And the thing is here, Mike, I actually tell her the amount she needs to ask for me when she's praying for me. I said, don't ask for check or coin and stuff, because I don't want a bag of coin to suddenly drop on my head and I don't. And also, I can't accept check because maybe it's not gonna go through. So only ask for cash or bank transfer, and it shouldn't be less than but 10,000 pounds or something like that. I give it exact price, right? So for this month, pray for me to make at least 30,000 pounds. She said, okay, for this month, I'll pray for you to get 30,000 pounds. I said, that's it.
Yeah, that's all right then. That's good.
So she's I said to her, you know what, and don't worry about it. You are not gonna do this prayer for free. I'm gonna give you a commission for. She said, what do you mean you're gonna give me commission? I said, I'm gonna take you on a very nice holiday when I made that money. So don't we're having a laugh on this, but this is true. If you are not asking for it, you are not gonna have it.
Yeah.
Mike, anything else you want to add to this great chat? Same as usual. Be hungry, have a story, want to achieve more, and stop being selfish and keep saying, I already achieved what I want to achieve. Because if you already achieve what you achieve and still you are alive, you are selfish if you are not trying to help other people to achieve what you achieve.
That's right. Go to the
start to be a mentor to other people. Or you don't want money, start to be a mentor to other people. Teach them how you done it, because many people, they don't achieve everything they want like you at the age you are. Maybe you are 60 years old and you say, you know what, I achieved everything I want in my life. Now you have a duty. The rest of the time you have from now is to coach other people, teach other people, how did you do it? Because there are many people, they get to the age of 90 and they don't achieve nothing. So to me, if you're saying I achieved everything, is very selfish, because life and us and this universe is not about I. It's about us. We all go together forward.
And you can never achieve everything anyway. So again, that's just people saying, I'm content with my lot and I'll stay here.
They basically don't want to go more forward from the comfort zone.
Yeah, we all know people like that.
Well, let's say, maybe somebody achieve it, maybe really somebody achieve it. I don't think ever I can achieve the full potential I can, because more I'm learning, more I realize, oh my God, so much I don't know, so much I didn't know. Probably if you ask me, when did you know the most? I would say when I was 19 and I passed my GCSE. That time I know everything. I know everything about the world.
Same as when people pass the driving, they get the driving license, they feel like now they're a really good driver and they know everything. They don't need anyone to help them.
When I passed my driving test, I phoned my mom. I said, I'm the best driver ever in the world. She said, why? I said, because I've got a British license. But then I didn't realize I have to do so much tests after that to become a driving instructor.
Well, that's right. That's why they say to young people, leave home while you still know everything. Because
I never heard that. That's actually
leave home now while you still know everything.
Say it again, Mike, for her.
Yeah, leave home now whilst you still know everything, because you soon realise you know bugger all.
So wise Mike is.
But kids don't have that.
Mike is very wise. You should see the books he's reading. I love these chats with Mike. It never ends. Me and Mike, we can go forever.
Yeah, we borrow some of his books.
Yeah.
Mike, anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think we've covered it, haven't we? Yeah.
Be hungry, man. Be hungry. Stop telling yourself stories, and stop listening to fake positive people who they keep telling you, be happy with what you got. Yes, be happy with what you got, but want more.
Yeah.
First you have to learn this. This is very important. First, learn this. You have to be happy with what you got, but don't stop there. Don't make a home there. You got to ask for more.
It's people wanting to keep you in your place, isn't it? Be happy with what you've got. Don't strive, because then you're under our control.
Well, that's one thing. And also, especially if they are your friends and family telling you that, just be happy with what you got. And, what you want to do more is because when you want more, that means you need to do more learning. That means you need to do more. That means you need to take more action. And when you are doing that, you go into the next stage. You make it difficult for them, because for them to stay your friend and be your friend, they need to make the same changes. They need to start to come up. They need to catch up with you. Otherwise, they feel left out. So
Yeah.
the best way and easy way is to tell you, oh, don't make progress, just stay there.
That's right. Stay in your hole.
Exactly. And then, they can still be on top of you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
Mike, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I hope it's been useful. We're having a friendly chat here, but we are doing it live in front of people. So everybody can hear it and maybe help somebody. Maybe somebody who should hear this stuff is hearing it. If you need help, reach out. We have coaches here in Mind to Wealth program. They can help you. They can sit down and have a chat with you. Reach out. Sometime in life we get stuck at one point, and we always need somebody who's done the journey to hold our hand and pull us up. Don't just sit back and go in hiding and think that's it. This is the end of it. Reach out, and if you need any help, just let us know. And if we can help you, we definitely go the extra mile to help you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much,
Absolutely.
Mike, and thank you, Kuldeep. See you later. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.